Hello, beautiful beings. Today's message is set with the intention that it bring some awareness to you as you're already traversing your own healing journey. I want to highlight some of the ways we can block ourselves without knowing that we've created these walls and these barriers around different aspects of ourselves, basically as a form of survival. We've experienced pretty traumatic events to our human, or we experience significant trauma. In that moment, we can almost create barriers from the experience because the emotion, the intensity, the extreme pain that can come from certain situations may be too much for our human in that moment to handle. We can start to cut ourselves off and create these blocks and barriers. And I know I shared about what we've been moving through in the heart. I've noticed it a lot, and I've been moving through my own. I'll share a bit in a minute, but we can actually create these safety and protection mechanisms that we compartmentalize this experience and all of the emotions and all of the things, so we can, to our human extent or to our ego extent, is so we can survive. We may not encounter these areas that need to be addressed until much later in our healing journey, depending on how intense or how heavy or deep some of these layers can be, and also how they can also correlate to other lifetimes. And we can be completely unaware and blind ourselves in our third eye and blind ourselves from different aspects because it was too hard in that moment to see the truth. There are individuals out there that intentionally cause harm with no regard to other human life, or depending on what role that person was to you, even in childhood. That's why we repress a lot of things. We don't notice it until we get into adulthood and actually start doing our healing, or any of the relationships we've experienced in our life. And if the situation caused so much intense emotion, we can actually, just based on survival to get through it, put that stuff away basically in a shelf to be dealt with later. That can also create barriers and blocks in different chakra systems, in different aspects of our being, and close us off to experiences. And we're wondering why we're not calling in these things that we desire, or why we're experiencing turbulence in our life, because we have hidden stuff from ourselves until we were ready to address it. I'll go into a little bit about what I've been moving through. Last week, I had a lot of beautiful healings. Actually, it was such a beautiful week, but also so much stuff was coming up that was ready to be addressed. And I had a session with a beautiful sister, and I'll keep it short and sweet, and I might share it on another message at a later time. But I'd gone into some really deep layers that I had basically blocked myself from seeing the truth in the situation. I was not ready, and based on the situation, I had to be strong. And so I created all this armor around the situation just to be able to make it through it. Well, it was ready to be addressed, and I'll give the best example. It was just complete heartache. My heart was in so much pain, and it was very hard to be around certain individuals because of the relation to another life that also had played out in this life. And I had asked God, because I was really going through it and just feeling all the intensity. And here's the other thing: the only way to heal is to feel what we truly feel. I could relate this to the last time when I did some really deep shadow work that I had unlocked and kind of sent myself into what some would consider maybe the dark night of the soul. What I found along my healing journey is those periods of time have gotten so much shorter, but it just, the emptiness, the heartache, all of the layers, because I had shoved it all down and was not ready to deal with it. And I'll say that it wasn't safe in my reality at the time to address some of these things until now. Like, if this would have unfolded earlier, I probably would not have been prepared with all of the tools I have now to move through it, and move through it much more rapidly. And today is the first day that I'm actually feeling some sense of normal and some sense of life back in me. I spent a lot of time yesterday really working on clearing, healing, over the last few days. And I know I've been witnessing a lot of individuals getting handed some pretty heavy stuff lately. It almost takes our heart being broken open to allow the light to come in. And sometimes moving through those emotions and moving through that feeling that has been stuffed away and not addressed, even through other lifetimes. And sometimes it can be hard for our human to realize certain things about individuals, that there are those that do travel throughout lifetimes to really want to take us out and limit our capacity, and they'll do it at any cost with no real regard to human life. They would be what I consider maybe soulless beings, but they have no soul. And I know that's sometimes a hard one to grapple with for individuals, but yeah, people can actually eject their souls out of their body and be an empty vessel for something else to come through. That can either be something of the light or something in the dark. It's just what it is. But yes, as healers, what I've found is many of my sisters also moving through this in different ways, is that we tend to move through things first so we can be a strong pillar for what's to come for other individuals that we are holding space for. And if you are moving through any of that, I just want you to know you are so seen, so loved, and so held through this by the divine. And If you are looking for deeper support and in community, my beautiful sisters and I are going to be facilitating a solstice transmission called Rising from the Ashes. You can find more info on the pinned post at the top, and also checking out the link tree. I have a link to register there. We've been guided to come together to co-create as we provide a collective healing. This is going to be a beautiful space. Each of the beautiful sisters on this call have such potent and powerful medicine in each in their unique divine connection that are going to be holding sacred space to provide support for the individuals that are seeking deeper healing, seeking support from a community. So I just invite you to go ahead and check out that at the top. If you're looking for maybe a more personal and intimate healing session, I have a few different offerings, but the one I'll mention is the heart healing session. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'm also feeling like there's might be a light language heart healing coming up. And with that message, I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful day.